I'm filming this in response to a question about the improvised lathe I used to make this little turned wax vessel. I want to make clear that the setup I used to do this is, you should not do this. You really shouldn't, because it's risky and it's very much not ideal. And I'm going to show you why, more than I'm going to show you how. So I use my flex shaft, number 30, the standard handpiece. Everybody goes for the quick change, but this is the one you need for doing other things. I made my own collet, and you can see here it's just a screw top mandrel and a copper disc with 3 snips in it and then turned up. This could be improved. It worked fairly well, but yeah, it could definitely be improved. Also, I could just buy the matte wax ones that, let's see, Rio sells them, Auto Fry sells them. They're easily available and they're a lot better. They also have a much thicker shank. That's important. The thing that makes any lathe work well is rigidity. Now, if you look here, I'm using this flex shaft handpiece to drive it, and I just used a strip of copper bent to hold the handpiece, and it's clamped to my catch drawer on my jeweler's bench, which is pulled out so that I can see what I'm doing. And then the tailstock kind of is just a block of wood that should be clamped down. It isn't right now. And to try to stabilize the wax tube, I have a spindle on this that gets inserted into the middle of the wax. I don't have another blank prepped because I'm not going to do this again. I'm gonna get a better setup. The problem is, once you have your wax mounted on this and threaded onto that, and this is clamped down as solid as you can possibly make it, which still isn't very, when you spin this, centrifugal force makes it want to bow outward, and that makes it vibrate, and it vibrates pretty badly. I was surprised that I was able to turn this as cleanly as I did because of how strong the vibrations were. And, you know, I did use a lighter to smooth the surface of this. There was some finishing done, but, you know, I was surprised I was able to turn as well as I could because it shook like hell. So this gives you an idea of the structure you need, but this is not a good way to do it. I mean, you can buy lathes for, you know, good ones for a few hundred, probably workable ones for 100, and, you know, I've seen them for under 50 if you want to take your chances. But just rigidity is why lathes work the way they do. For a woodworking lathe or a metalworking lathe, if you look at those, they all have a cast iron body underneath here, and they can easily weigh half a ton, even for a machine that's not all that big. And that's because they need to be absolutely dead rigid. Any vibration, any wobble, and not only does it not work as well, but it gets dangerous, because when you spin something and it starts vibrating, things want to come apart and they turn into shrapnel. So even with this, safety glasses, ideally a face shield, because it would be incredibly easy to lose an eye, finger. You know, this, just because it's jewelry, just because it's little, does not at all mean that it's safe. So again, this is how I did it. I will not be doing it again, and I cannot recommend that you do it, but I was asked what I did, and this is it. The other thing that I want to point out is that if the flex shaft mounted in this direction is rotating forward, that has the workpiece rotating up. That is not how a lathe is meant to go. So you need to either turn the flex shaft so it's rotating downward toward you, or reverse your flex shaft so that when you're turning, you can brace your tool on a tool rest, which is another thing that lathes have that this doesn't, and the work can rotate down into it, away from you. If it's coming up, it's going to want to catch this and throw it directly at your face. That's not good. So, yes, this is a fairly stupid thing that I got very lucky with. But, yeah, get a real one. Seriously, that's what I'm going to do.